Welcome, episode 18 of Salvation Records 2020 Vision Behind the Scenes. We're going to discuss God Cares. Yeah. Alright, so God Cares. So the making behind God Cares. Honestly, the concept of God Cares is God cares. You know? It was, when I first created God Cares, I was just making a beat. You know, this beat's probably about maybe 2 years old now. So I was coming back for the hiatus. It probably was the second track I made, trying to get used to the flow of making music again. Because actually some of the stems on there is like from the original, even before we started getting really good equipment. So I made this beat. At first I called it Pretty. I didn't know what the song was called. I just say, you know what, Pretty. That's it, because it sounded really pretty. But over time, I was, playing it in my head. Like I said, if you know me from before, I always play music in my head, regardless if there's music phones in my head or anything. I always have music in my head. So, God Cares. So the concept behind God Cares was, I wanted somebody. Me and this lady had a conversation one day, and it was like she was wondering if God actually really cares, So me and her got to in the depth conversation, and long story short, it was a blessing on her part and my part as well, because one, I wanted her to understand that God cares, and two, it made me realize that God cares. So it just made me reestablish my confirmation that God cares about me. The writing of the vocals is very special to me because the song was dedicated to one of my best friends ever in the world, named Vernita Griswold. She's no longer with us. Unfortunately, she passed away back in 2013 or 2014. I think it was 2014. I'm not going to tell you what because that's personal reasons. But she passed away, and one thing about Vernita was she made me understand, or started to make me understand, the power of the Lord. Because I was going through a time of my life where it's like I didn't even care about myself. I didn't care if I lived, didn't care if I died. And I just had no self-worth about myself. So, and when I met her when I was at the school, shout out to Savannah College of Art and Design. That's a great school. Met a lot of good friends there. I'm still friends with people out there. Lee, Mike, Yance, Nick, Storm, all y'all out there. I'm praying that y'all, hopefully y'all doing good through this pandemic. But I was going through a mental storm, and I didn't know which end was up, pretty much. So then through the school, I met Vernita. And Vernita was a bubbly, like, I love the Lord kind of person, And a lot of times she made me mad because of that. Because I'm like, how do you love the Lord? And And I'm just like, I hate my life, So it's like, it was like kind of like two opposite ends of two opposite magnets on each side. But she, over the years, she became one of the most important people of my life. To the point that when I graduated from school and I moved back up here to Jersey, I wanted to make sure I kept in contact with her. So out of all the people that I left the school with, I talked to her the most. To the point that I even visited her when she was living up in New York City. And she was a bubbly, but she was strong, skinny. I always made fun of her not eating, but she was strong, and particularly strong in the love for the Lord. And over time, she grew on me, and to the point that the hatred that I felt in my life, she was constantly checking me on that. And she was the pinnacle of me starting to get my life right. Sometimes I think that people actually are born for a specific person, you know. And I do believe that Vernita came here for me, to save me. And you know, she was one of those people that could have changed the world, because she was a playwright. She met famous people all over the world. People that I was like, wow, you met them? So she could have had a big influence, you know. And when she passed away, that was one of the things I'm like, I had to question God. I'm like, why? Why did you take her away? She could have saved many souls. And then I was like, the Lord just gave me a conclusion. And this is just my conclusion. I'm not saying this is God's conclusion. But he said, what makes you think I needed her to save all them souls when I only needed her to save one? And that was my closure on her passing. That thinking that maybe she came to save me. So then when God Cares, the format of God Cares, I wanted to kind of fill in her shoes. Her shoes, you know. Maybe not too I can't fill in her shoes, because me and her were two different people, you know what I mean? She was calm and collected. I was aggressive and angry, you know. But I wanted to carry on her legacy, and by telling people of the world that God do care, you know. So I wrote the song. It's 2 verses, top heavy, straight top heavy. Like the first verse, I laid it on you thick, and the second verse is kind of okay. I read it to you. I'm not gonna drag this out any longer, so it's not gonna be as long as the first one. But yeah, I just wanted to establish to you that even through my times in trial, when I didn't think God was there, He was really there, you know. And I'm looking at back all my mistakes that I made, all the times I was a jerk to people, you know, the sins that I did in my past. Even through that, God showed me mercy because He kept me here. And to the point that when the final straw that broke my camel's back, you know, in my life, to the point that it made me realize I can't do this stuff on my own. I need to tap into a higher power. And God always said that He was there. And Vernita always said that God was always there, even through her transition. And the way she left with dignity. So I can never question somebody's salvation, especially the way they left. Because you know what? They say that you leave a legacy behind for whoever to take over. I'm just hoping that through the Music with Salvation Records and through the guidance of the Lord and my brother, I hope that I will still carry on Vernita's legacy. Vernita, I don't know how much time I got here on this earth, but I'm going to tell you one thing. Till my dying days, I will carry on your legacy. World, listen to me. God cares. Listen to my lyrics. Listen to the whole 2020 Vision album. Multiple situations that happened in our lives, from Geronimo all the way through treason, survival, loving your brother and brother's keeper, seeing injustices from We Refuse, not having much time on this earth like SWT, understanding things are getting real. All of those songs, it just shows you God cares, because we were willing to sacrifice everything in our lives. Times with our family, things that we had to get punished for because we were going against the grain of the devil, to tell you that God cares. And if we listen and we save a soul from making a very bad transition in life, then we gladly take that burden. But just understand, through my eyes and through Vernita's will and through the love of everybody here at Salvation Records and all the friends that love you dearly, God cares. Peace.